going to be in this order. So the first 3 columns with the smiley faces and stuff are for you to make notes and stuff. And at the very end, after all the pitches, then I want you to put your priority preferences from 1 to 5. I don't want to have 2 1s or 1.5 or 2.3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is all I want, because that makes it easier for me. So what I'm going to, and then at the end you hand this in, and then I take this tomorrow and I enter it into a spreadsheet, which I post online at preferences.html. And what you'll see there is this spreadsheet where horizontally there's 1 row for each student, and vertically there's 1 column for each project. And in the spaces, the intersecting spaces will be the 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay? So this is a convenient way of finding out who prefers the project that you might like. Okay? And also on that page, there's going to be this image that has the name of the student, and if you click on it, it's the email address and the picture, what year they are, and what their major is. So that's all the information I have about you. So with that, you would go in and contact like-minded project people and get a team formed. So the advantage of this is that you're deciding who's on your team and what project you want. I mean, there's all sorts of ways of picking teams and doing projects, and this has worked out pretty well in the past, so let's try it again. So these are going to be teams of 3, okay? So as of this morning, there was 25 people working on team projects, so that's 8 teams of 3 and 1 left over. So what I might do with that 1 left over, or whatever happens, if there is 1 left over, whoever that person is, wins the musical chairs contest, and I will assign them to be on a forum team. There may be some teams that maybe could it would be worthwhile for them to have a 4th member. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. Okay, and by only having 8 teams, that may give you 2 more minutes at the midterm and final presentations, which is a big deal. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this? Okay. I should mention at this point that we're not going to be pitching the individual projects. Okay. So I'm not going to see those. Team members should all want to work on the same project. I should mention about these projects. They're all good projects. None is better than the other. They may look better, but the project is what you make out of it. Okay. It's important for you to do things with your own initiative. Take leadership of the project, and you're going to be working on it by yourself. You're going to be checking in with me every week. Maybe every other week you have meet with me as a team in person, and maybe those intervening weeks you send me an email progress report. Okay, so that way I know that that you're on schedule. And I can give you advice on how you might proceed. Okay, so in evaluating the teams you want to be on, you have to sort of look and see what might be required of a solution. If it's going to require a computer-based solution and you have no computer background, well, the PRL can help you with that. I remember 2 years ago, there was a team who had no background in computer or software, and the PRL bootstrapped them to a level where they were actually able to do a great project. So keep both of those things in mind. Okay, and a lot of times, you can approach these problems from a variety of ways. So there may be a mechanical solution, there may be an electronic solution, so all those are viable, but I'll help you along with the process. Okay. There should be a compatible mix of personalities on the team. So let me tell you one thing. sometimes, having your buddy be on your team is not a good idea. So it may be a perfectly good buddy, but he or she may not be a good teammate. So just because you're friends with somebody, don't assume that they're going to be a good project team member, okay? So keep that in mind. At the same time, you might want to reach out to other people that you don't know who might have skills that would be helpful for the project. We have a variety of people from different disciplines enrolled, and I think it might be a good idea to have a mix of disciplines working on a project. So don't be afraid to pick one of those folks, especially if they have a similar interest. Now, a couple years ago, a student said to me in a comment at the end of the quarter, he said that it's really important to pick good team members. So I'm going to ask you now, who would not be a good team member? Raise your hand, okay? Excellent. You're all going to be great team members, so got that out of the way. Again, I want to mention that this will require time for you to work on these projects. So if you have other project courses going on, be aware that your time is going to be split, maybe to the point where you're not going to be able to do either or all three of the projects that you're working on very well. And that doesn't help you, it doesn't help your teammates, and it doesn't help the project. So please think about that carefully. So what you do is I want you to form teams by a week from tomorrow. So by a week from tomorrow, everybody should be sending me an email with the project that they want to work on, their team name, and the members. And it's like a first come, first served kind of deal. So there may be a chance that somebody else has signed up for the project that you really want. So you should keep an open mind on picking, another project, okay? They're all great projects. So, and this is really important here. It's very important to get a quick start on this stuff, because you only have basically 8 weeks, and there's a lot to do. So if you spend the first week or two just sitting around and being unorganized, what that means is all the tasks, all the project tasks get pushed to the end, to the last 2 weeks. And nobody wants to have a frantic last 2 weeks, okay? I know you can appreciate that. And I've heard this from every student team in every year. They tell me at the end, we should have started earlier, we should have done more brainstorming, we should have done more prototyping and stuff like this. So it's not just from me, it's from the past students who also had that. So I want to emphasize it's really important to get started. I know it's really tough to do because you may not know everybody. You have to figure out a time and a place to meet, and you have to figure out who's going to take a little bit of a leadership role, and sometimes these leadership roles change during the quarter. It's okay to have somebody be the leader for the first couple weeks and somebody else take over later on. But it's up for you to do that. I'm not going to say, you be the leader and you do this and that. You're on your own here, because this is how life works. You don't have somebody telling you from day to day, I want you to do this and that and the next thing. So it's really up to you. And if you ever get stuck or just need some advice, I'm around. So I can help you. If you have a problem with a teammate, or you have a problem, a technical problem, or a fabrication problem, I can help you. The PRL people can help you, and you want to keep on moving. That's what's important. To go through a whole week without doing anything is not going to work. Okay? Great. And again, I want to mention that if you're working on other projects, this may not. I had a student today said, I decided to drop because I have 2 other projects this quarter. So if that's your situation, please think seriously about taking this next year. Okay? Let me know if you have to miss lectures or field trips. And even if you have a limited fabrication experience, I think you can still contribute to the team, because the people from the PRL can help you, and maybe you have skills that can help out the team. Now, I don't mean to say that if you don't have fabrication skills to let other people do that and say, well, I'm really good at writing and stuff, so I'll do all the writing stuff while you do all the fabrication. No, that's not what I want. You should be involved on all aspects of your project to the best extent you can, because this is how you're going to learn, okay? Any questions about that? So there's no guarantee that you'll get the project that you want. So what you can do is convince others to work on your project, or you can have an open mind and consider working on somebody else's project. So keeping an open mind, like Carl Sagan says, it pays to keep an open mind, but not so open that your brains fall out. So I want everybody to follow that. Okay. Those working on an individual project, I'll be talking to you about the project that you want to select and how to do it, but we will not be pitching those today. Okay? So these are a list of the projects that are on your handout as well. There's a bunch of them, and some of them are going to be pitched by the suggester, and others are going to be pitched by me, and some of them are going to be on video. So I need to take a little bit of a break here to get my Wi-Fi hooked up, but maybe use this time to bring Abby up front. Okay, so this is forward, or I can do this for you if you just tell me next. Can you?
Yeah, you're going to have to do it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna move around.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, speak of that. I got to sit up.
Tell me when you're ready. Oh, okay. So hi, my name is Adam Kammerer, and this is my service dog, Nathan. So I use a Will Model M wheelchair, and it has some wonderful features to it. It's four-wheel drive, goes on any terrain. It has an ergonomic mouse, so it moves very easily, and I love it. But there are some features that I wish it did have that it doesn't. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is illumination. So to begin with, the wheelchair is 250 pounds. My service dog, Nathan Heel, is approximately 65 pounds. So I'm moving everywhere with that amount of weight besides my own weight. And in early morning and when it's dark out, it's a huge problem because there are obstacles places, I can't see where I'm going at times, and I'm pretty active. So some kind of illumination for this wheelchair would be magnificent. Can you hear me without this? Okay, so some of the problems I've had, I went to one event and I was leaving it, going to my car in the parking lot, and the sidewalk and the ground were not level. So the front, one of the front wheels went down 4.5 inches, and I'm teetering on the edge of the sidewalk. And then I had to figure out how to get the whole chair down, and once I did that, how to get back up to the sidewalk so I could get back to my car, because it wasn't level anywhere. But I didn't realize that until I was in this precarious position. Another problem I've had is that I've gone and worked somewhere and couldn't even see where it was I was going into, and luckily I knew somebody that was at the event so that they could come out and guide me where I was going, because I had no idea, and then they walked me back to my car again. But it's always wonderful to be able to be independent and do these things on your own. And if I had some kind of illumination on the chair so that I could see where I was going, Nathan Heel, that would be a huge help. So the next problem I'm going to tell you about is storage. I'm on a pretty severe medical diet. I'm vegan. I do juicing every day, and I eat lots of vegetables, make all my own food. So I buy an enormous amount of groceries on a daily basis. I mean, you know, for the week. And storage, how do I carry them around while I'm also navigating with a service dog everywhere I go? So I do have a backpack back here, but certainly can't put groceries in it. And while I have a service dog, it's a huge problem as how I pick out what I want, how I transport it, and that's just groceries. So it's a constant problem. If there was some kind of way that there could be a storage for the wheel, that would be magnificent. So the third problem I'm going to tell you about with the wheel, and I'm going to get up to show you. Nathan's side. Is the backpack. And as you can see, this has got a strap back here because that's the only way it'll hold on because of the strength of the weight of it. I carry water bottles for myself and my dog. Plus, if I have a laptop, my calendar, whatever, just basic things. And there's not a whole lot of room, but the weight of it, causes a problem on my back, which is extremely sensitive to this. So there is some kind of spaces. Something could be made to keep this off of me, but I haven't figured it out. So my service dog has this pretty substantial harness on it. And it's specific to his organization outside of Philadelphia, so you can't buy this harness. But I balance and support with it, and it's cut to the size of my arm to fit me. So when I'm with Nathan and the wheel, and I'm going to show you, it's a little hard here, but Nathan front. Okay, Nathan side. Depending on where I am and what the configuration is in the room, going down an aisle or wherever it is, I either have to have him on the side, Nathan front, Nathan heel, and even sometimes in the back, the leash. So you're seeing me hold it with this hand, but the wheel is operated, right hand is the speed, or the movement, and the left hand is a speed. So I'm working with both of my hands at times, besides controlling a dog, and the leash gets tangled everywhere. So I've had a security guard, a tool person at a building, a high school principal, and a janitor untangle the leash at times. I've also had it tangled in the side of this, in the back of it. And besides that, sometimes if I'm moving this way, it goes across here and I could be spun forward without knowing that the speed has changed, except feeling it. And the safety of myself and my dog is a huge problem. So what to do with the leash? But if you look at the wheel, the arms come up. So if it were attached to the side of that, you know, where would my dog be? Or how can I control him? Because I need to be able to let out, Nathan, thank you. I need to be able to let some leash out so that he has some movement, while at the same time I have to be controlling the 65 pounds. So that's another huge issue. So Nathan, come here, sweetheart. So the harness is put together with because the leash is a problem, I always carry an extra leash with me, because if it gets wound around the wheel, it could be kind of going up to his neck, and I have to quickly unattach him and make sure that he's secure with another leash while whatever I'm doing. So, I've been on the ground holding him down just while somebody works on the chair or something to make it work. So that's something else I carry with me as an extra leash. So the harness itself is similar to a horse's harness in that it has a pad underneath that's fitted to his back. And it goes down both of the sides of his back, not his spine, so it doesn't hurt him. But it's held together by buckles similar to what's holding his,
I have a picture of it.
gentle leader on his head. They're buckles. I have arthritis in my hands. The pinching is very difficult. Every day the harness goes on and the harness comes off. Nathan, heel. So there are 3 buckles that attach this harness so that it's secure on him. And I also have one of those buckles around his gentle leader to direct his head so I'm not pulling at his neck. And the collar, these are very common. Everything is attached with these kinds of buckles. But if there were some way that I wouldn't have to pinch, magnificent.
Thank you, Abby. Abby lives in Mountain View, so she's very close by. And with all these projects, you're going to be, working with the people who suggested the project. And but luckily, Abby is pretty mobile, and she lives close by. All right. So the next project is from Tony, who also lives in Mountain View. And he apologizes for not being here because he has a real job. But he did send this video of the. Oh, you may not be able to hear this. Oh God. Okay. That's another issue. Hold on.